Dobry dzień, banduristy. Today we're going to go over some of the care of your instrument. So as you see here, I have a brush. So on a regular basis, you do want to brush the instrument. You want to keep as much dust off of it as possible. And okay, so brush the entire instrument several times a month, and always keep it covered when you're not using it. So we're going to also go over how to keep the wood from drying out. So what you see here, I think you can see this, is an object called a dampit, and this is a humidifier for your instrument. You can pick these up at any music store. Guitarists use it, a variety of musicians will use this to keep the wood from drying out. And here in Minnesota, our winters are very dry and the wood can crack. As you can see on this instrument, it has cracked. Now this one's been repaired internally. So in order to use this, you take it and you hold it under the stream of a faucet, or what I have here is a bowl. So I am going to just let it sit here, and normally you'd let it sit here for about 5 minutes to make sure that the sponge inside, there's a sponge inside this tube. It's a hollow tube with a sponge, and there are holes in this tube. So the water enters the tube through the holes, gets to the sponge, and then when you're done, once it's soaked, you want to dry it off very thoroughly. You do not want to put a wet tube into your instrument. So I am going to thoroughly dry this off. And then, yep, so we're good. I'm going to move this bowl. So now we want to put this into the instrument. So if you have a Czernichowska Bandura, you have a sound hole. Now this particular one has several sound holes. When you buy a dampit, make sure that you get one that where you have the top, where the little top here is larger than your sound hole. Now this particular one, as you can probably see, this top will fit into these smaller holes without going into the instrument. If I were to stick this one into the center hole, it would fall in there and I would lose it. Not a good thing. So what I'm going to do now is put it into the instrument, and I would put it into a hole as close as possible to the left here. So I'm going to go here between F sharp and G in the small octave, and I'm just going to thread it in there. Just like that. All the way in. And there it is. And you really can't see it when you're playing, and it doesn't bother you. So there we have it. So make sure that the top of your dampit is larger than the hole you're going to put it in, okay? So I would get one that is slightly larger than this one. So you do need to change this regularly. So once winter comes and it's, very dry in the house, then you need to take this out, and I'm just going to grab it here and remove it. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to the sink, put it under the water, let it get soaking wet, or put it into a bowl, dry it off very thoroughly, and then I'm going to put it in again. And this is a very simple and effective way to keep your instrument from drying out. You don't want your instrument to crack. As you can see, this one's cracked twice. This one's been repaired, but some of you, or actually most of you, have very nice instruments that are not cracked. You want to keep them that way. Humidifying the wood is extremely important.